Well, now that we're back, unloaded, the only thing I got to do yet is rinse this out and get it back to the rental company. And now that we're done with everything, I'm going to give you my impression of Ford Transit versus renting a motorhome or using a pickup truck. You can see my F-150 back there. The math clearly works better renting this than renting a camper, either to pull or put on top of an F-150 or a Chevy or Dodge pickup truck. Again, under 550 bucks a week, unlimited mileage. You can't put tires and brakes and oil changes through the mountains on your own vehicle for that. I know Ford makes the long, extra long, and short, and then the regular, medium, large. I know we put in a different video. Last time we did this on the start run, we had the regular height. And if you look, you can see on the side that the regular height ones come to the height of the front doors. The medium heights come to the height of the side sliding doors and then turn to roof. And then this is the high, the tall. You don't want to go with the regular because then you can't stand up when you're getting dressed and stuff like that. And you can't sit up in bed decently. But you don't need a tall. I'm 5'10", and this is like 6.5 feet high inside. So it was nice to have that front spot to throw stuff. Nice to be able to stand up. And I believe I could do that with the medium height pretty well. And that little bit of extra height adds so much more of a sail when you're passing semis or going through the mountains. I would have felt a little more comfortable. And you're going across Montana or coming back through Winnipeg as fast as you can go, and the wind starts moving you. Would have been nicer, I think, to be just a hair lower. When we picked the rental up, the one comment they had was there's a dent in the door. I can see how that happened. This door was a bear. I just had to pull it really hard. Sometimes you'd have to really push, especially if you're not on a downhill level. So if it wasn't already dented, I probably would have dented it. So I hope Ford figures out their hinges. I saw a couple things online on adjusting them, so clearly guys are having to tinker with that. I definitely would pay the extra for this feature to be able to pull the doors off, slide them around. There was a couple of times when we stopped for lunch or whatever, where it was a tight fit to some sidewalk or in a wayside. If your doors were out, you're a pain in the neck to everybody else. So being able to do that was really huge. You know, if it would have been pouring rain here when I got home, it would have been nice to be able to back all the way up to the garage. You can't. That's another thing that we definitely discovered in Seattle and in Vancouver was all the drive-up windows, all the parking ramps are made for 7-foot clearance. You know, even your four-wheel drive trucks, you can see I got an 8-foot door, but 7-foot four-wheel drive truck. You can't park in any of the public garages, you can't go through any of the drive-ups, so you really have to figure out a parking plan if you go into anything urban, because you're going to have to find a way to park at a park and ride and take the subway or something to make that work. The other thing I would say with the Ford van that was a shock to me is you can kind of see the angle height of the hood and all the way up to that top height. The one we rented last time had a bunch of repaired chips in the window, and this one you can see it was good when we got it, but there's a bunch of these where they had it repaired in the past. Well, you can see I had that damage, I have that one, and I've got one up over there. It's like in just under 5,000 miles, I think it was, I would have gone through 3 windshields. In the old days, cars that had flat hoods had these little bug guards. I think most of these are used around town for delivery, so it's not an issue. But if you're on the highway with this, the windshield is just a magnet for all the rocks, chips, and bugs. So you can see on the front, you know, the amount of bug garbage we had dealing with it. So I'm not sure what do you do with that, but if I buy one of these, I'm gonna have to find some kind of aftermarket deal to catch the bugs, maybe something that snaps in here on the front, because I don't want to be buying all these windshields. When I turn it in and do the math on renting versus buying, I'll talk about what happened with the windshield. I'm assuming it's either going to go to the rent-a-car company or my insurance coverage, but we'll find out. The other thing I wanted to just get was the final numbers and the final math. Driver's door ajar, sorry about that. I gotta go like this. Oil change required. Washer fluid low. Okay, this is the info I'm looking for. We had 96 hours, 11 minutes with this thing running, averaging 17 miles per gallon at 5,110 miles. So to do 5,000 miles in 2 weeks sounds like you're in the car all the time, but keep in mind, like when we were cruising up in Canada, especially getting lost on the dirt roads, there was like 6 hours of just touring lakes and stuff and just having a blast. Same thing when we were driving up and down like Mount Rainier or around Vancouver Island. I don't consider those travel hours. I consider those fun entertainment hours. There's probably, though, a good 75, 80 hours of travel of just getting from point A to point B. 17 miles per gallon. Miles per gallon is always a function of who was driving, how fast were they going, where were they driving. I was either going up and down hills through the mountains or as fast as it would go down the interstate. So I would bet that if you slowed down to, reasonable, 69 mile an hour speed limits, you'd definitely get over 20 miles a gallon with this thing. By comparison, if I would have taken my F-150 with this, which other guys claim they get 20 miles a gallon, I've never gotten over 13 on a trip because I'm driving faster. Same thing with her Nissan the Armada. Other people claim they get 22, 23, whatever. I get 15. So take that as a reference that whoever you are, you might get a heck of a lot more than I got for mileage. The cool thing with the Ford, I would say, is cup holder, cab container, plugins, container, plugins, container. You open the door, you can stick your wallet in here, shut the door, so if somebody breaks the window, even if they, get it open, your thing is still locked in. This container up here, you're going to spend most of your time in this seat or that seat, and the amount of stuff that you can store and contain right here is pretty incredible. And knowing that there's over half of the cargo vans on the road are Ford Transits, versus the Dodge ProMaster and the Mercedes Sprinter and the handful of GM still running around, you're going to find such bargains on these versus the other brands. This is definitely the way to go. And again, this has the 3.5, so it's bulletproof. It's in their truck, but it's not the 3.5 turbo. But I didn't have any problems. If I had been pulling a trailer, I probably would have been complaining about not having the turbo. So that's all I know. Thanks for watching, and we'll let you know the next trip.